YouTube, today we are going to make my hardtail tubeless, and we're going to do it in a simple way. We're going to use Gorilla Tape, sealant, tyre and an inner tube. So I went today to pick up some valves and they were 15 quid. I'm not sure I want to pay 15 quid to send this bike tubeless. It's a spare bike that I use occasionally. I'm not paying £15 for valves. You can get them cheaper off the internet, but I wanted to do it today. So I've done a bit of searching on the internet and you can do it with a tube valve. A matter of cutting it out and making it fit. I've already done one wheel like it and it worked fine. I thought I'd do that first before I stuck this on the old internet. So let's crack on. Alright, so first of all you need to take your wheel off your bike. Secondly, let the air out. Take the tyre off. The way you do that, you push the tyre, pull the tyre off the rim, bead. There we go, that's off. Get your tool in there, get the other one in, just go around there like that, off comes the tyre. Whip the tube out, you'll need that for your valve, save that for later. Whip the old tyre off, you'll need that in a minute. A lot of these wheels have these strips, just need to prise that out. Just literally get some from the valve, lift it up. And pull off. Throw that in the bin, you don't need that anymore. Just clean the rim up. Chances are it looks like mine, it's disgusting. So it's all clean. Right, once it's all clean, you've got to stick your rim tape on, which is Gorilla Tape. It's 25mm wide. Buy that, I think that's £2.50 at the local DIY store. So I always start halfway between the valve hole and the wheel weld. So I'll start here. You've got to stretch this on nice and tight. So the way you do that is you want to get it right in the middle too. Once you get the first bit in, the rest of it will follow. Get that nice and centred, like that. Stick that down. I don't know if you can see that on camera, but It's nice and centered either side. And literally stretch it and stick it. Run your fingers around, make sure it's nice and tight, nice and stuck, no bubbles, no movement. There you go, nice and tight. And you do it all the way around. Nice and tight. When you get back round to the where you started, you want to go about 4 inches past it, 5 inches past it. Again, keeping it nice and tight, and about 4 inches past it. There you go. So. You want to take a pair of scissors, cut that off nice and square. Right. Again, just pulling it nice and tight and sticking it back down. What you want to do, run your thumb all the way around the middle, making sure the middle is nice and stuck. Up the front, and then I'll get a tyre lever, and I'll just go in where the bead would sit, and just make sure it's stuck down at the side, all the way around. And then I'll just do the same again this side. Making sure that the edge is down. There you go. So that's the rim tape on. Nice and tight, looks good. Next bit is the valve. So you've got to find your valve hole. Which mine is just there. I'll take a bradle or an awl. It's got a point on it rather than put that through the middle. I'll just take a Phillips screwdriver, Aussie screwdriver, and I'll just stick that through as well. Creates a nice hole, so you're not cutting it, it's a nice round hole. I think it's the best way. And then you're ready for your valve. Here's your valve on your tube. All you're going to do, a pair of scissors, you're going to cut that side, and you're going to cut that side. Now you can pick these tubes up for like £3 in Halfords, probably cheaper, find cheaper somewhere I think. So unit 2, it's still £6 for 2 valves. Cut down the middle, open them up, clean all that chalk off. And what you want to do, cut down there like that. Basically you've got a tubeless tube. Tube valve. Tube valve. Basically got a valve for a tubeless conversion. So what I've done on my last one, I'll just cut around there, into a certain type shape, more of an oblongy shape. The idea is that when that sits in your tyre, that should sit nice and tight. Trim it up till you think it's about right. Chances are you've got these kicking around your garage I've got quite a few kicking around my garage, old tubes that I have to keep, God knows why. Probably not any longer now because it's all tubeless, so we won't need any more tubes. But basically, there's the valve. That will work perfectly. Well, you got your valve, you got your wheel. You got to put your valve in your wheel. And you might want to trim this up a little bit, depending on how he sits. So I think I might just trim him up very slightly, so he sits in that groove a bit neater. At the end of the day, the bolt will put it down a bit tighter, but you want to fit the best you can. Like that, we'll pull in there nice and tight. Focus on that. There you go. Once you get that nut in, that'll pull that down nice and tight, that'll create a great seal. Tighten him up. A pair of pliers. Push down the top of the valve. Snip him up. You should end up with something looking a bit like that. It don't need to be massively tight, but I suppose tighter the better. Tighter probably, rather than not. I think that'll go. So now you get your valve in, we've got a tape on, you've got to stick a tyre back on. So your next job is putting the tyre on the rim. Now this tyre is directional, so there is an arrow on the sidewall of the tyre. Find the arrow, which is there, and it's pointing that way. So I'm going to turn it and face me, so now it's pointing that way. Pick your wheel up, have your brake disc facing you, have the arrow pointing to your left, and stick your rim in. You put one side on first. It's no different as if you're putting it on the tube. And start your next side. What you want to do is leave a gap at the bottom. See that? Once you have your gap, you need your tubeless sealant. Grab your tubeless sealant. All you do is tip it in the tyre. Just like that. And what you want to do is move the tyre around. Like that. So now your sealant's at the bottom, and you can now close the tyre up at the top. Can be a bit awkward. The easiest way is just to pinch the tyre, get it in the centre of the rim, and that'll give you a little bit more along the top. And then just work it on. You can use a tyre lever, but I've found generally with these tyres you don't need to. You should just be able to bring it on. Like that. We've got a little bit of sealant on the rim. Just clean the rim. So the next job is pumping the tyre up. Now I use a compressor. I think it's a lot easier than using a track pump. If you ain't got one, I have seen people do it with a track pump, but I think a compressor is well worth the money. Even if it's pumping your tyres up on your car and your bike. Grab your airline. I've always found this easier if you just slightly compress the tube near the valve. That'll help the air go into the tyre a bit quicker. There we go. Put that up to about 40 psi. Swash your sealant around. Both sides. If you bounce the wheel on the floor, turn it as you bounce it. That'll also help. Now what you'll find is until you ride it properly, you will lose a bit of pressure in these tyres if you just leave it in the garage. But after a good ride, generally they seal up nicely. You probably won't get any leakage. I have got them on my full suspension mountain bike. They do go flat over a long time if it's not ridden and pumped up. But so as long as before you go out on it you check the tyres, it should be fine. So I hope you enjoyed that video. It's my first attempt at doing a YouTube video, doing a bike maintenance one. Maybe there'll be some more to come. I quite like maintaining my own bikes and fixing things and changing things. So perhaps the next time I go to do something I'll stick another video on. Thanks very much.